several of you that will go through it very closely. If there's any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. But we were able to allocate a little more money because we had more income. So there were certain areas that we were able to add money or be a little more generous, especially with the road department. Let's see. I think that's pretty much all I have there. Let me just, sorry I'm flipping through this so fast. I know you can't see it anyway. So one of the things that we discussed when we had our budget meeting was the fact that we wanted to move the funds that we had. We have a nice amount of money in the park fund, and we'd like to move that into a special fund so that it can draw higher interest. We have a regular park fund that, you know, we did the community day, we had, here it is, this is the park capital fund. We had community day, and there's some ins and outs that are smaller numbers, but for the larger numbers, like if we want to build a playground or if we want to do any major capital improvements, it's nice to have that base. It's also a nice match for grants. So we'd like to move $250,000 into a Pliget fund, and if the supervisors are amenable to that, we'll have that on the December agenda.
Can you explain Pliget? Because I think it's something that a lot of people don't understand.
Yes.
Just in simple, as it relates to how they invest.
Pliget would be, I would equate it to your Fidelity or your private investment company. It's a high interest earning firm for municipal money. They pool money, and they're able to get a higher interest rate. There's some of our funds are getting more than 5%, just across the board, 5%, which is a really nice. And the township in the past has done an excellent job of putting money aside and being able to grow it. And we want to continue that plan.
Can I suggest this? About 2 years ago, we brought Pliget in and they did a presentation.
Yes.
And they reviewed everything, all the monies we had, where they were at, and suggested higher yield interest.
Excellent.
So I was free. There was somebody, I believe, from the state. I don't remember for sure, but I think that we should have somebody come in.
We have an account advisor. I'll talk to our account advisor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be glad to do that.
But Pliget is basically a financial advisor with financial products for municipalities. Simply put, right?
Correct. So the new building fund is a fund that has existed since before I got here. There was a small amount of money, approximately $20,000 in that fund. I was told that fund was to fund plans for the new building. It has sat, but we haven't really done anything. I think we took a little bit of money out the 2023 year I was here. So the first year I was here. So the hope is that we can just use that for surveys, engineering, or whatever. Supervisors will decide that. They'll talk about that with us in the future. I left that fund alone. I didn't do anything with it. This is the capital building fund. We have not, we're finalizing the debt documents in a few days. The actual interest rate and our actual debt information, what we'll owe and how it will, how that will play out, will be in that official document, which we will post as soon as we get it. But this is, we just presented an idea of the cost based on the numbers today. In 3 days, it may change, that's why it's not official. So on the loan, interest earnings, we are allowed to earn, if we keep the money in our own reserves, to avoid arbitrage, which means that you make money off of somebody else's money. We can make up to the interest rate will pay out. So we anticipate we can make up to $72,000. This is not written in stone now. This is just pie in the sky. So this will be adjusted, but I wanted to put this information out here for this public meeting so that you can see it. We have applied for LSA grant. We applied for $1 million. We think that's a little unrealistic, but we do think that we have the possibility of getting at least $500,000. I've also talked to the DCED because we made this investment in the property. They anticipate that we will be able to get at least $500,000 from the DCED this year, which would be $1 million. We did pay $1 million for the purchase of the property. The loan payment with interest, we anticipate being, right now, based on the number they gave us today, $78,800. That's what we will pay this year in 2026, for our loan payments.
And what are our interest earnings on that again?
We anticipate $72,000, so it's almost a break even. But those numbers, again, are pie in the sky.
They're hand-grenade numbers, they're not surgical
Right.
precision.
Right.
Like anybody's budget. My family, we have wonderful aspirations of what our year looks like next year. There are always surprises, some are good, some are bad.
Right.
So I use the term hand grenade because we want to get close. That's related to everyday people. Go on.
So we anticipate spending this year, or 2026, $1.828 million. We anticipate that. Now that is based on what we get and what we don't get. And we project having the balance of approximately 1.2. Again, that is, that's with all the earnings that we get, the grants, et cetera. And the supervisors will have to decide whether they're going to spend the full amount, which is the $2 million. That, I think it'll be based on how it looks with grants, how things are going. Again, it's pie in the sky right at this moment. But that actual debt document, that debt number, and how it will play out will become part of the budget when we put it in. We will be posting this online. That information will come a few days later, once we get the actual number. This is our capital improvement plan. I know you can't see it all. It will be online. We anticipate limited spending this year. We do plan on we had anticipated doing work on the block building. Right now that is on hold. We do have work to do on this. We are looking into running public water here and making some improvements to this property. Public water is very important because the well water here is very spotty, and it's a challenge, especially for the community center. We don't drink the water. in the other location, but we are really concerned about that. So you will be able to look at this if you have any questions. Again, we'll provide any information you'd like. Turn this around. These are our road projects. We've highlighted the road projects. The dark green are our planned projects for 2026. So we have had Corey Schaefer from PennDOT come in. We've measured the roads again. We've assessed them. We've assessed what we can do. We've applied for a large grant. We're hoping for more than $800,000. We did a lot of work this year. We've taken a lot of pictures. We've made a big show with PennDOT and our legislators, and we're hoping that we can get that funding for next year. We want to do Scott Ridge, and while we're there, because the roads are close, Dogwood and Huffnagle. We're applying for the rural roads, small roads, dirt and gravel, for the yellow roads. So we're looking at Little Yellow Creek, Schmidt, I think there were 2 others in there. Church. So you can see in Albert. The lighter blue are the roads that we completed this year, Bellis and Woody Wilson. And I have to really give our road department a really big thank you, because Ed was able to procure all these millings, and we've been able to make stabilized gravel. We're planning on using it again in the spring. We have a ton of millings to process, and once that sets up, it's beautiful. It's almost like you're extending the pavement of the road. It really worked out well. If you want to check it out, primarily on Whitestown and a little bit on East Lancaster, you'll notice how solid those roads are. So these are our road projects. Again, our ability to do Scott Ridge will be based on whether we get this funding, and we're working hard to get it. So that's the end of the budget presentation.
All right, thank you, Mary, for that. Supervisor, questions? No. All right, we'll move on to the agenda. Visitor and public comment. The first one that signed in was Steve Kuskowski.
So going back to the budget, you know, my question every year is, are we over or under for next year? We have a surplus.
We have a surplus this year.
How much? For, not this year, for next year.
For next year?
Yes, we'll have a surplus.
What was
We
that?
actually, we put, I zeroed it out, so I just added things. I added a couple numbers, but we were over about $70,000.
Or, so we'll have like a $70,000 cushion.
Sir, but you have to understand, municipal budget, you're not supposed to have surplus. You're supposed to spend what you get.
We've had it for years.
But we will.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's how you should present it.
Where did we end up this year? Where did we project? Where did we end up this year?
We're gonna be under budget by more than $300,000. Yes.
So that 300 that we have in the budget could go into 2026 then, right?
Yes, yes, it'll
We'll have like
exist.
370,000 extra.
We'll have, yes,
Close.
Okay.
give or take.
Okay.
Please remember that you never know when a truck's gonna break down or things
Just
are
cut
gonna
it
happen.
out, 370 buffer as compared to.
We always have a buffer.
All of the projections are, like last year, incredibly conservative.
Very conservative.
Oh, yeah.
No
On
growth.
revenue and expenditures.
Okay. Greg, back in October, when we authorized the legal notice for the $2 million note, any advertisement in the Bell Radio, it states, coveting to pay and pledging unlimited taxing power for the payment of the note. What's that mean?
Can we answer that?
Go ahead.
Bond counsel, Mr. Darren, that was here that evening, prepared that ad. It's in accordance with Pennsylvania law and the debt law, and the municipal borrowing act, so it's required under Pennsylvania law. That's why it's in there.
It has that language.
So does that mean that, the bank that we're using to borrow that money from, if we miss a payment or 2 or 3, they have unlimited taxing power to tell you guys to tax us?
No.
No,
Okay. Question, this is for the solicitor, Michelle. I emailed a request for the 39 discrepancies to Mary last week that you reviewed back on November 3rd meeting. I'd like to get a copy of the 39
I
discrepancies.
don't remember it was 39.
It's on the video tape, you said 39.
Okay, well, you can certainly ask for it was an exhibit, it's a public
No,
record.
you
can
were
go see it.
stating that. You're stating.
I understand, but it was a letter from Butler County, and you'll look at it and you'll see that it wasn't.
No,
39.
you're sending that to Butler County to review.
they reviewed it.
They had reviewed it at the time of the public hearing.
Okay.
So what we decided to do was recommend that we review those recommendations by Butler County, incorporate as many as we could, and send it back to Butler County. We don't have a response yet, and send it to the planning commission, and they will see it and act on it.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it wasn't 39. If, there was a list, there's probably a 2-page issue.
I know that you said 39.
Yeah.
That's what sticks in my head.
So you'll see it. You can see it. It's a public record. You can ask for it. You can go
I
see
just
it.
asked for it.
Well, I don't have it
Okay.
in my, I don't carry it around, but it was submitted at the public hearing. And have you
Does Mary have
asked
a
for
copy
it?
of that?
He asked me for it, and I
They did
It's
your
not an
copy.
RTK.
They did your copy.
What's that?
No, they did your copy.
You want me to put an RTK?
No,
I said we
you
don't
can
need
have a
that.
copy. I mean,
Okay, because that's what Mary said that, you should, said that I should put an RTK in the request. Is that true?
that
what are you looking at now?
Public.
An email.
Okay, Steve. I asked Michelle
Right,
about that comment,
correct.
and Michelle said she didn't remember 39,
Okay,
and she said, if I need to do, and she said there is the letter, she said if that's not enough, he can write to know it. So we'll get you the letter
okay,
or the statement from Butler County,
Copy.
okay.
because we don't remember 39. Was it a statement like, there's like 39 things, or
She
was
said
it?
there's 39, we're gonna concentrate on the 3 or 4 of them.
Steve, when you pull questions out of the air from months
That's something once, this is last.
or weeks back or wherever your questions are
That's something
coming from,
November 3rd.
I'm speaking correct. Yes,
Okay.
please don't interrupt me. But when you pull up questions to interrogate the supervisors, which is sometimes what you're doing, it is very difficult for us to pull the miscellaneous information that you're requesting out of the air. So sometimes we try to get close, just to provide an answer, but be very specific, we will get the answer.
Thing is, I put the request in an email. I didn't put an RTK in. You don't want me to put an RTK in, but then I'm got an email stating today, put an RTK in. You can have a resolution to post the RTKs. So why are you asking me to put an RTK in?
I don't think anyone did. I did. Anytime anyone goes to any of the municipalities and wants a public record, I say submit a right to know and we'll give it to you. But I understand they would like to be more accommodating, that I
Yeah.
recommend, and they want to give you a copy of the Butler County letter. You're entitled to the Butler County letter. It was an exhibit at the public hearing, and you're allowed to see it. There's nothing to hide.
But the thing is, they're gonna have a resolution to post all the RTKs, And going on the RTKs, is it gonna be the ones of the previous, or it's gonna be after?
That's a good
After
question.
today.
I would say moving forward,
Right, I mean, the resolution will be adopted this evening, so anything
Okay.
after this, I guess, will be posted.
But we can post the old ones. I mean, as far as transparency, we're happy to do it. There's nothing hidden.
Well, I don't have a problem with mine, not other people's mine, As long as you don't, how should I say it, violate the constitutional right of privacy, you're okay.
That does not sound like transparency.
You have to be transparent. You have to be transparent. You have to be transparent.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were all
I think
transparent?
it's a two-way street.
And then it
I
would,
did
and
send it
then
to you,
I
right?
think it would
You did.
open, Steve, I think it would open the line of communication. If people actually talk to us, instead of coming up and attacking us,
I'm not
or
attacking you, but
coming,
I'm-
well, it's just you ask a question in a public forum when you, most of the time, now granted, I messed that one up. But the other thing, the other thing that you asked for, I got it to you within minutes.
I didn't say no.
So
I think-
we are trying to accommodate, we're not being
Okay.
evasive.
In any way. We're not being invasive in any way.
On the new budget, not the new budget, but, tonight's agenda, under other business, what kind of rental fee are we going to be charging?
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, well, it'll be, it's on the agenda.
Okay. Are we gonna have another public hearing for the budget, or no?
No.
So, how was it finalized? Did everybody get together, or have a conference call, or?
We met with Mary individually and looked at where we were last year, what our thoughts were for this year.
Okay. And the last thing I have is the paving of West Lancaster. Is that paid by our insurance company or the contractor's insurance?
The insurance company went after the person that did the damage,
Okay,
but they actually wrote us the check.
okay, good. And last one thing, I know the resolutions, okay? When I was checking the resolutions, we're missing 6, 8, 13, 14, and we'll be adding 15 tonight.
You mean on the
They're on
website?
the
Yeah,
website.
they're not on the document list. On the website, they're not there.
Yes, actually, when I started working with our person that we, are doing, that's doing our website, she said, I've never known a municipality to post their resolutions, but she said I would post them. So we just hadn't gotten those to her. So we'll get them up.
Okay,
I think one of them may have been skipped nothing.
Yeah, and there was one that's, yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next up, John Meyer.
Good evening, gentlemen, ladies. Over 2 years ago, I came to the Board of Supervisors and asked them to do something about M&W Wax being compliant with their conditional use. Here it is 2 years later, and the place still isn't cleaned up. Now Mary, you complain about people submitting RTKs. You folks have created this problem. We come to these meetings, we ask questions, and we never get an answer to our questions. I have yet to hear any of you actually give us an answer to any of our questions. And we don't get anything put in the minutes, so we don't even have record that we even said anything or complained that anything's in the minutes. I think when a resident brings a subject up, it should be put in the minutes, and we should get a copy of those minutes so that we have record of it. You know, Mary, since you came here, you've cost us township a lot of money. Huh?
That's not true.
Don't interrupt you.
Yeah,
Why do you interrupt me, Ray?
You asked if it was true, so he
I didn't.
answered. Yes, you did.
You gave away all our cinders and ashes and said it was illegal to have them, which was wrong. It's awful funny, Slippery Rock Township used them. Wasn't illegal for them. You told us the DEP sent you a letter to shut this community center down, but we're not allowed to use it. We still use it for township meetings, but we're not allowed to rent it out to the residents. I think you're blowing smoke up our butts. And I'm tired of it.
I can address the DEP and the township.
We had a gentleman research it. There was no letter sent to the township.
I can tell you what occurred. Do you want to listen?
You want to interrupt me again, huh?
Now we're having a conversation.
You ask us to answer, and then we're trying to answer.
You are asking questions.
You are asking questions.
Aggressive.
Okay, answer.
Adversarial.
Sure, the DEP, Tom, you were at a meeting this spring, correct? And the DEP, there was something about community water systems, correct?
Correct, yes. DEP's regulations indicate if there's so many uses and so many people in the building for a municipal use that is qualified as a public water supply, which then requires it to be permitted, which this facility is not currently permitted. It's not.
When did this come about?
Their regulations, I don't know when this occurred, but I know that they've been after various communities in the Northwest region to get them permitted.
So we have nothing to say. First off, the state's telling us that based on the usage of the facility, we can't provide water.
But we didn't get a letter stating that.
I never said we got a letter.
Yes, you did, Mary.
I said that I have a letter that was forwarded to me. I didn't say that the DEP said that we can't use the building.
No. I got a lot of people here that contradict that.
You've got a lot of people that heard what they wanted to hear. I said that we got information that said that the DEP, and I've said that. I've had questions about this from multiple people, and I've answered to multiple people.
Okay.
We're following the DEP's direction as far as that goes, and our intent is to get public water here. There is no mystery as to what's occurring. We'd love to have the community center up and running, and we plan to get water here. But we also plan on doing what the DEP suggests.
How come we're holding this meeting here?
Because we can have so many meetings a year. We can have
So many people in the building.
so many people in the room and on so many days and still fall safely within the DEP's boundaries. If we also rent the facility out, we can't have meetings here as well, or we see.
Another issue I have. You got all these extra people now. We're spending an awful lot of money. And how come our township office can't be open 5 days a week? That people can come up here and find out information. You say you want to be more transparent? How come it's not open 5 days a week? Other municipalities are. And I mean, with all these people, this whole staff, surely we could have enough people here to cover the building.
Our intent is to get the township building open in 5 days.
We
What's our
are
process?
going to be open in January, 5 days a week. We were going to bring that up at the next meeting, but since you brought it up, well, there you go. We just brought Barb in. She's in the process of training. I am the only other full-time person in the office every day. And Mondays and Fridays, I have a lot of meetings. I'm not always here. I'm coming and going. I'm doing what I'm paid to do. I meet with other municipalities. I meet with other professionals, and I do that work. We brought Barb on. She will be here. We will be open 5 days a week, starting in January.
Okay.
That's the intent, just like it took us time to get the website up and running, because that was in shambles when we started 2 years ago. Everything is a process, everything takes money, this table that you're looking at here is full of professionals, many of them who weren't here 2 years ago, they are now. And despite all of that, all the help, the professionalism you have, we were still $300,000 under budget this year.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, you stated that you had to have that meeting on November 3rd. A couple months ago, when I asked you what the deadline was on that curative amendment, you didn't have any idea.
That's a legal issue. She
It
should
is.
not have known. I knew that under your.
She should have known.
And we all did know, and we knew well in advance.
John, if you're gonna point your finger and say she, we're gonna ask you to leave. Simply disrespectful.
No,
It is
John,
absolutely
you should have, the whole board should have known what the deadline was
We
for
did,
this curative amendment.
we did, and that's why we had the meeting, and we talked about it at the last meeting. The cutoff was election day. We said we couldn't do it then.
Since when is it 15 days after a hearing that you have to give an answer?
The state
Your code says
It's our,
that.
it's our,
It's the township code, the
Yes.
municipality planning code says 45 days, our code says 15.
We've always went by 45 days.
Well, you haven't had many curative amendments, they're not common. I'm
No,
telling you, they're
well,
not
I
common.
have to say this is the
So,
first one.
right, mine too. And the
No.
curative amendment is 15 days, proposed findings of fact. And we looked at the calendar and we're like, uh-oh, you can't make it all the way to the next meeting. We gotta have a special meeting.
Okay,
It has to be done by.
I apologize, because all of our hearings before were always 45 days.
Most are, you're correct.
Okay.
We'd let you go well past the 5 minutes. So if you can wrap it up, that would be super.
Well, it'd be very hard for me to do that. But I would really appreciate it if you folks would give us some answers when we ask. You know, you don't have to answer it tonight, but at least in the next meeting, let us know. I mean, and I really think our comments need to be in the minutes, and we need to be able to see a copy of the minutes.
copy of the minutes are posted
You can
online.
keep a copy of the minutes. The minutes.
I don't do online, Mary, I'm sorry.
Well, you're welcome to come in the office and I'll print them, John. I've
What
never.
day of the week?
Any.
Okay,
When I
that's
get
Thursday.
Thanks, John.
Can I-
moving on.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Sylvia.
Okay, I was here 25 years ago, as you were, John. And
The office was open 5 days a week.
I worked full time. No, we weren't. 3 days a week. 3 days a week. Hand to God, 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Cindy and I were both full time. Shirley and I make a full time person. Until we hired Barb, we didn't have any more people in the office. Until last week, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. So nothing has changed except we just now hired Barb, as far as hours go at the township building.
Thank you, Sylvia. Next person, is Connie Dumoff.
Well, what I was originally gonna talk about, I'm gonna pass on, but the only thing I'll bring up, because there's a lot of new people here, and due to the way the headlights are, how eye damaging they are, and the new vehicles, please be courteous to the residents right here, these 3 houses, and these new vehicles. If you're not leaving or not entering the parking lot, if you're sitting here, let your car warm up, whatever, please turn your lights off. Because you have, even with the, light darkening, curtains, those lights still come through into the houses. So please turn the lights off. I'm tired walking out, maybe tired walking out and asking people to turn the lights off. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Last up is Tony Leo.
Good evening. Mary, and Shirley, I'd like to thank you for working with me on a lot of the questions. As far as the right to know law goes, it is legal in Pennsylvania. It guarantees the public's right to access government records to ensure transparency. And that's it. If you guys have questions, send an email to Mary and you'll get an answer. But the only problem with that is if I ask you a question, he asks you a question, it just stays with me and him and it's not made public. I think there's enough questions that can be published and the answers on that. And then on this resolution for the right to know, is that going to be names posted or just the whole right to know?
I don't think we've decided yet, have we?
I thought it was the request that was going on,
It was
the
gonna be
request
the
and
whole right to
response.
know. Again, we're just trying to be transparent, so
Okay.
you might have the same right to know question as somebody else, and now if you see it online.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to publish the whole.
And maybe there's, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't interrupt, but maybe there's something in the right to know that needs to be redacted.
Well, we redact the address and phone numbers and contact information.
And that resolution moved on pretty quick from last month to now. I'd like you to recommend to you a resolution to make all special meetings at 6 p.m.
We've heard that.
Do we agree?
Yeah, we heard it. Understood.
Okay. And as far as the EP, Tom, do you have documents from that meeting?
I have phone conversations that I've had with the EP. I don't have a letter or anything in documentation form. But I do know that there are several of our clients and municipalities that are going through the permitting process for their activities. So it is something that they've been pushing lately.
Right, and we're not in a community water system. We're in a private water system. So the information that you sent was for a community water.
We would be classified as a community water system.
And the representative up in Meadville, the DEP representative, Justin Bledsoe, says they do not come around the communities, townships, and research their water and septic. So-
Septic is, just for clarity, the question was water. I brought up at that very same meeting, my concern, because we had to clean out the septic system, and I started asking questions about our septic system, and I asked Jake Vegas, or John Vegas about our septic system. He said, I've never inspected. I don't even know where it is. That's what made me bring it up, just as a future concern. Just like any capital improvement, any plan, I brought that up.
Right.
But that is not part of that, the conversation. Tom forwarded the information on the DEP concerns about using this building, the water here. We share a well with the township building. And quite frankly, I was talking to Rich about this, and he said, what if there was a baby shower here, and the mothers needed to make formula, and got water from the bathroom? This water has a lot of iron and other things in it.
Has been tested.
So
That's just the concern. That's all.
Is there a system that would bring it up?
there's a lot. And I was part of the decision. First, the DEP, based on the usage and the volume in this building and the laws that they put forward, and I'll forward that to you, says that we are over the allocated use for a well here in this building. We're allowed 25 people 60 days a year or something like
Right.
that. Between this and the community center, we exceed that. 20, 25 days a year, we have people in here for public meetings, right? We're allowed 60 days with 25 people. Follow me. So that's 25 of our 60 days in this building are taken up by community meetings. Then we're renting it out on the weekends.
Yeah.
Follow me. There's 52 weekends a year. We rent it out one time each weekend for 52 weeks. We're up to 75 or 80 days if we have 25 people using it.
Right, I think that interpretation is supposed to be for.
Listen,
the whole
we're
year.
supposed to follow, correct, yeah, we're supposed to follow the laws and the regulations that the state puts forward. So from a legal standpoint, we need a public water system. But I'll tell you beyond that, as Mary said, from a moral and an ethical standpoint,
Just try to be proactive.
how old is this building? Does anybody know?
Well, the point is, that the water is bad.
Well, we don't need to condemn it, but we can't control who comes in and rents it either. These pipes, for all we know, it's the same well that's over in the township building.
Okay.
If they're lead pipes, we've got a gas well right across the field. We're letting people come into this building against the DEP's mandate. We're putting a tremendous amount of legal risk here in the community. First, we're better off just to stay under that threshold and get water here and fix it. We're interested in doing the right thing.
Yeah, the water and septic was an issue, trying to convince the residents we have to buy that property over 600 Cary Highway. And on a special meeting, I think it was August 11th, that's all I heard. The well and septic isn't working here, it's not adequate. The DEP says it's not adequate, we have to buy that property. So that topic came up.
Property.
Yeah. And, so anyway, thank you, and I'll, if there are any more questions, I'll I'm going to acknowledge Gary Morgan right here. He doesn't come to the meeting as much, but I work with Gary all the time. So thank you. He comes.
Welcome, Gary.
Can I say something?
Great.
I didn't hope anyone listened to talk to that. I talk anyhow, didn't I?
Yeah, sure, so go ahead.
You talk about DEP.
Sir, can you step forward?
Yeah, your last name.
You were talking about DEP, Tony. You know how DEP gets in here? Somebody has to call them. I live in a trailer court, you all heard the story about Lancaster Trail Court. Okay? The water was bad. The water is now better than ever because they put a purification system in. What's keeping you from doing the same thing here instead of paying $1 million for another piece of land? I'm done.
Thank you, sir.
Mike,
You had a question, please.
Mike Swiker, I've been here since 2013, took a 2-year break. You want to talk about the well, I know all about. So this Debbie, a couple other residents here. Cornell, summertime, what do we get? We wash one car and we're out of water. Our well is not good here. I'm the first to know about this, as the Haynes. The well is not good here. 10, 15 minutes out of it, it is done for the day. You get a dry summer like we had this year, it's done. So, you know, the community center and the township building, we're running restrooms, we're running water. This place is done. It's just it. We've talked about getting water up here before. It just hasn't happened. That's what we need out here is water. But, well, the quality is not here. It's just not.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I made one more comment. This water issue with the wells is going on all the time. What's the township going to do? Are we going to try to get an insurance policy to help these people? Or that just continue having water? But I know they can re-drill.
Are you talking about the trailer park that had the issue? Is that what you're talking about?
Pardon?
What residents are you talking about?
Well, Gary and mentioned that his water well was dry, he said.
Mike was talking about
Mike's
this.
talking
He's talking about this building. He's talking about here.
Well, there's other issues, other people have it too.
Well, listen,
But I don't know if we can get an insurance policy for this to help them out or grant money.
thank you, Tony.
thanks.
All right, we'll move on through the agenda. Move on to item number 4, administrative business. Motion to approve the minutes from the regular October 20th, 2025 Board of Supervisors meeting. Those minutes were circulated. Any questions, supervisors?
All right, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 20th, 2025 Board of Supervisors.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Motion to approve the minutes from the November 3rd, 2025 special meeting. Those have been circulated. Any questions on those?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 3rd special.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. Moving on to bills to pay list from October 11th of 2025 to November the 10th of 2025, totaling $452,000. I'm sorry, $452,412.53. Obviously, that's much larger than what we typically see. The color behind that, we had the road projects are in that number, and it's roughly $330,000, which will be covered by liquid fuels. The balance from the general fund. We'll request reimbursement for $230,000 from the DPCD multimodal grant as soon as the check's cleared. Any questions on it?
No. I make a motion to approve the bills to be paid from October 11th to November 10th, totaling $452,412.53.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item 5, there is no old business. Moving on to 6, under new business. Move to approve resolution 2025-16, posting the right to know request. We've covered this already, Michelle, anything you want to add?
There's nothing I want to add, no?
Supervisor, any questions?
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-16, posting of right to know record request.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on, motion to approve resolution 2025-17, which relates to the disposition of records. I think we brought this up at the last meeting. So we brought in Kathy Carlson, who has produced very detailed spreadsheets. So she went through every box, and there was, I think I wrote down here, 32 boxes of files, some dating back to the late 60s.
That's what she's gotten to.
So she's
Oh,
got-
there's about 120 more boxes up in the rafters that we have to get to.
So
Where are they stored?
They're up in the rafters with furnaces. In the garage. So we've been systematically pulling them down for Kathy, and she is amazing. We're stealing her from you. She's just been wonderful. She goes through the boxes. There's a very controlled, list of what you can and can't do with documents, how long you have to retain them. We're being very conservative there too. We're retaining a lot of things that even, we could get rid of, but we're not sure. And she's detailing them in her spreadsheets, and we really enjoy her company too. I mean, it's been great.
Look, again, I want to stress, she, her input, are strictly adhering to the state laws and guidelines of along the lines of what we need to retain and what we don't. And again, we'll err on the side of conservative. Moving on to agenda item 7, other business. Motion to advertise the 2026 preliminary budget. I'm sorry.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-17, disposition.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now moving on to other business. Motion to advertise 2026 preliminary budget that we went to today. So this will be posted tomorrow,
Yes,
correct? And will be posted for 20 days.
it will be posted for 20 days. As soon as we get the, debt information, we will post our debt, amortization and information as well.
It'll be available in the office if somebody wants to come look at it.
Correct.
And
You don't go online,
And it'll be available online also.
correct.
All right?
I make a motion to advertise the 2026 preliminary budget.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to number 2. Motion to approve the additional work on the 2025 COG pavement contract for the repaving of a portion of West Lancaster Road. So this was due to the overweight truck damaging the road.
Yes.
We did receive insurance funds of around $87,000 for that. The total project comes in about $94,819.
And we were able to tack this on to the projects we did this year, so we didn't have to go back out to bid, which was nice. And they were thrilled to have another project coming in at the end of the year, so we did really well on that one.
I make a motion to approve the additional work on the 2025 COG paving contract for West Lancaster.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to item number 3. Motion to accept to the collective bargaining agreement between the township and the police department. This is a 4-year agreement that starts January 1 of 2026. Little color behind it. Pay increases are as follows: 4% for year 2026, 3.75 for 2027, 3.5 for 2028, and 3.9 for 2020. 3.0 for 2029. The insurance contribution, 3% in 26, 4% in 27, 4% in 28, and 5% in 2029. Any questions on that?
No. I make a motion to accept the collective bargaining agreement for at least for 2026 and 2000.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. Moving on to item number 4. Motion to execute a lease agreement with Twisted Inc. for the rental of a property located at 600 Perry Highway. So Michelle, you are putting together a lease currently?
Yes, I'm putting together a lease, you just needed to, motion to authorize execution of it. From my understanding, it's for a period of 6 months, $1,000 a month plus utilities. Possible extension, and that's at the township's discretion, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. So those are the details, as far as I know, is there anything else? Okay, so that's what I'm gonna prepare, and then you guys can take a look at it, and if all good, and sign.
That is just for that building, by the way.
Just the one.
Not the whole property.
Okay. I make a motion to execute the lease agreement with Twisted Inc. For $1,000 for 6 months.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item 8, planning, land use and zoning. Move to approve Ardenwood phases 4 and 5 request to release funds totaling $214,117.78. So this is the total, it's $194,652.53 plus a retention of $19,465.25 for their financial security. This leaves a balance of $9,900. Tom, anything to add on this?
No, the work that they had included in that estimate has been completed. Essentially, we're waiting for the as-built drawings and the record drawings, which is within 9 days.
Supervisor, any questions?
No.
Now, I make a move to approve Ardenwood's phase 4 and 5, request for release of funds.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Move to approve Ardenwood's Phase 6, request for release of funds totaling $33,706.20. So that's $30,642 plus a retainage of $3,064.28 from the financial security. This leaves a balance of $6,000. Any questions? Tom, I assume everything's on the up and up there.
I make a motion to approve Ardenwood's Phase 6 request for release of funds totaling $33,706.20.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. Moving on to building permits. The permits issued in October of 2025 was at 5. Year-to-date total takes us to 100. Moving on to staff report. Michelle, anything further to add tonight?
I have nothing to add to my written solicitor's report, I just wanted to make a comment that you're one of the only municipalities I've been participating with that is easily adopting their budget, and you're in the budget.
Well, I can tell you.
I was impressed.
I can
It's
tell
not
you
usually what I hear,
in the
so
past, we went
people are
through
struggling.
great pains. Remember doing one on the 27th of December. Manager report, Mary?
I have no large report. The only thing I have is the Council of Governments, which is Lancaster, Jackson, Harmony, and Zilly, met recently, and we had a presentation by the Harmony EMS, and they're really struggling. And they made a request because they can get more funding if they actually get tax dollars. They made a request of the municipalities for the half of a mil to fund emergency management or emergency services. The other municipalities, I will tell you, are planning to do that, and they wrote it into their budget. We know how tax adverse this community is, but I really just wanted to get an idea how this group felt about this, because we have a nice diverse group here tonight. That half a mil will give them about $26,000 total from us.
That's just from us.
Just from us. The anticipated amount is a little more than $100,000. I personally was concerned because I know that a lot of people send in that check to Harmony to, pay for the membership. And my concern was, is the public going to say, hey, I'm giving you tax dollars, I don't need to send that check in? And I presented that, and they said they weren't worried about that. But one of the things that we did with the fire district, whenever we increased the millage to 3 mills, I wasn't here in Lancaster, but I was involved in Silly. We were really concerned about financial oversight. So part of that agreement to go to 3 mills with the fire district was they had to open their books to us, and they had to meet with us, and we actually brought someone in to help them with their books. And we have a budget meeting at least once a quarter with them to see where they are and to keep on track. That was the agreement that this group, this COG group, said that they wanted with Harmony EMS as well. If we're going to give you tax dollars, you laugh, John, and I understand why.
I built the place. I know what goes on in there.
Okay, well, we're gonna keep it professional here. But that was one condition that we said would have to be met. We will see the books, we will get control over that.
Audited, right?
Correct. And we actually would have someone reviewing the work. We actually have someone doing the books for the fire district. And that was a condition that we had discussed with Harmony. So I'd like to bring Harmony EMS in here. I did not add that to the budget, that $26,000. We have float. We could give a portion, but I talked to the supervisors, and they are adverse to adding a tax, which I understand. It would be nominal to the public. But I wanted to get a feel for this group. The trade-off is, for that nominal tax, is we get control over the books. And I wanted to get your feeling about that.
Mary, is there a way, and I guess I know some people don't have access to the website, is there some way we can do a survey monkey?
We could. We don't tend to have a lot of success there. But I just kind of wanted to get a feel.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does it have to be tax revenue?
It would have to be the tax revenue. It would have to be that $500,000 tax.
We can't just pull it out of the.
No. Now, we can contribute that. And I believe the township should contribute a portion. That's your call, though.
Yeah.
But in order for us to actually have for the Council of Governments to get that control, it would have to be tax dollars, because that's the only way we could say we're contributing. So you have to show us. You have to give this to us. So that was the question.
And what is the community?
What
do they provide the community?
Oh, there are ambulance services.
So
And they need money. There's no doubt they need money.
Why are they having financial trouble compared to several years ago?
Everyone is. This is it's statewide, national. This is a national issue.
Insurance money, and how do they make their money?
So what happens is, a lot of times they get called out, and they'll come in. I would be glad to bring them in. They go out to calls, and they'll go out, and then they're not reimbursed. Like, they have to pick you up. If you don't have insurance, they have to pick you up.
So the only way.
Yeah, Shirley, yes.
All right. I have a history in healthcare insurance. Ambulances specifically struggle everywhere because they have to have EMSs on board to care for emergency, services to an individual. Pick them up in a car accident, whether they get hit by a car, you come to your house because you're having a cardiac arrest, whatever. One, they have to have the equipment and all that. When they bill, services for the EMSs on board and mileage and things like that. Normally, and depending on the distance, I would say the average ambulance ride costs around $1,200. With insurance companies, because they're contracted, or some of them are not contracted with local insurance companies, then reimbursement is their usual, customary, and reasonable which might only be $200 or $300. So that's the money, and that's if the patient doesn't have a deductible or whatever. So that's a whole new other can of worms. But a lot of times, even though they bill $1,200 on a service for picking up somebody and taking them to the emergency room or treating them at the scene, then their reimbursement barely pays for the wages for the EMT.
How many of your calls, Mike, are to these guys? How many calls are you guys involved with?
That's our largest.
156 this year.
So they're, when somebody needs them,
So another reason that they struggle is if the police call them out, that person can still refuse treatment.
Yeah,
So then we get,
and that happens a lot.
that happens all the time. They get called out to 100 calls a month, and somebody refuses treatment, so they want it for free. They don't get paid by anyone.
So
And then on-
the only way we made additional money in the past years is these memberships that they.
Memberships, but then again, that what they do is transport services as well. And that eats up a lot of their time. They'll transport, and sometimes they're driving them into Pittsburgh, they're driving them all over the place. And that eliminates service when it's necessary. You know, if someone has an emergency event or a cardiac event, like.
Which is something that needs to be written in, so that if we're gonna pay a tax to them, that they need to have an ambulance available.
Which is what they,
That's the
yeah,
Harmony
that's
does like
one
to
of the
send
things.
their, to Ohio and
That's the
wherever the
intent of-
else they go.
Don't they get paid for transport services?
I'm sorry.
Don't they get paid for the transport services?
They do, and that's really their steady income, is the transport services.
so what do the books show that they're actually not?
We haven't seen them, that's why we want.
Yeah, but we'd like to see the books too.
Like 5 to 10 years back,
Well,
Jay Brunel will let you see that book.
no taxes.
so I wanted to present that. I will, at the December meeting, I will see if I can get Lynn to come from Harmony EMS and do a presentation, but it is a big issue. And the county's been working on it for years now, and it's a statewide, it's a national issue.
Is there grant money available for that kind of stuff?
The grant money would come if they got tax revenue.
Yeah, if we took
They don't
over,
get any tax revenue,
similar what we did with the fire, once we got
Right.
involved.
yes, that opened the door.
So they get called out for a lot more areas than just our area too. There plus we get called Muddy Creek, but
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
County, Cranberry, because they're all short. They don't have, so
Right,
if we're paying tax, they should be paying taxes too.
well,
Well, they
Cranberry
would.
does, Cranberry
Cranberry's
is.
but I'm just saying that it's still, it's a catch-22.
So we've been working with, there's been a larger group of, I think, 20 municipalities. We've had meetings, and it's included Beaver County and Cranberry, all these municipalities, Forward, us, Muddy Creek. It extends to this whole region. And we were talking to multiple ambulance services, and they're all struggling. They're all having a hard time. And a lot of it is just, it's the pay structure.
It's hard to find people.
It's hard to find people, it's hard
They're
to
not
pay
making
people
money.
their wage. And just like a fire truck's $1 million now. I mean, it's crazy. Just a fixer-upper is $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. We hear about it all the time. And an ambulance is very expensive as well. So
Is that
that's where,
privately owned or publicly owned?
that is privately owned,
Privately.
which would have to change.
So how do you want our feedback?
I just wanted to know how you felt about, I wanted to know what you felt about a $500,000 tax that would be added to your tax revenue.
I vote no.
Terrible.
You vote no?
I vote no.
Okay, you vote no. I just wanted to get a feel, because, I mean, it's, like I said, this whole township, everybody in this township, the total amount would be $26,000. So how many people say yes? How many people say yes? Okay, how many people say no?
It's a majority.
Okay.
It's a bad year, the school tax.
I don't
That's why we made
disagree
the
with you.
decision that we did not to include it on it.
And for a lot of people who don't have a big business, it's not such a hit. I pay $34,000 a year right now in school tax. So if you've got a little bungalow, $500,000 is nothing.
Right,
For me, a half a mil is $4,000.
that's good to know, thank you for sharing that.
I'm just saying.
All right, I appreciate the feedback, that's all I wanted.
So administrative report, sorry, do you have anything else to add?
No, and just, I've been trying to help Mary get everything, what we've been doing here tonight. Also trying to, work with, Barb, getting her up to speed, so.
All right, engineers report, Tom, anything else? Just that Fieldstone has finished their first coat of paving, so they'll be opening it up for building permits for the new building site. And there's 2 of the 5 that are sold. Police report, Sergeant Gordon.
So year to date, we have 1,900 calls, 192 for the month of October. Medicals are still high, along with phone calls and business trips.
Thank you, Mike. Road report, Ed?
Yeah, since our last meeting, we do have the auger mount on the new Mac. We have local manufacturer help us with a 1-foot extension to it. We did take the cutting edges off an old plow in the back. It worked out just about perfect, so that saved us some money. And we did a concrete repair on the Red Brush Trail. We continue to use the Buffalo blower throughout the township. We are very pleased with the power of that machine, keeping our ditches clean. So we did receive the first shipment of salt. We were required to take delivery before the season started. Recently, we rented a hot box, which is just a little dump trailer that's set up with a heater on it for asphalt. And we put down 6 tons, a little over 6 tons so far, and we'll have it again next week. Just to do some more patching. Kind of takes the place of cold patch, so it's a stronger and better bond, and hot mix is cheaper, so it works out. We still have some boom mowing to do, and some more grading to do, pull some dirt up to back up the curbs. We have plenty of milling to use for that, which we're pretty excited about. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Zoning, Sylvia, anything else?
Yeah, so I think some of you know I was not here in the township last month. I did do some work while I was away. So we didn't have as much as I usually do, but I did have 12 incoming calls, 9 outgoing, and 71 emails incoming, 36 outgoing. Even in the limited time I've been back, I still already had three residents in the office. So I did one property visit as well. So most of them are regarding building permits, new homes, zoning permit questions, land development questions. Planning commission, as many of you know, are working on the ordinances right now. We're still working on the subdivision ordinance, it's about done. Then we'll move on to PRD and zoning, which we have done part of the PRD, but we have 97 different municipalities, PRDs that we're looking at as examples. We are working on that. We are meeting twice a month to try to get that accomplished, because we do have, I get a lot of calls from developers, just saying, all the time. So I also had floodplain questions, sat in on a planning grant seminar, looked at research department rules in the township, fence permits. We have a lot of sheds, we have a lot of different things. Also reviewed the land development plan for Graph. They wanted to add on to their building. Looked at and approved all the zoning and building permits. And again, like I said, reviewed and researched proposed changes to the zoning ordinances and PRD. And I'm working on Lancaster facts materials, because there just seems to be a lot of misinformation about what taxes come to the township and what taxes go to the county and the school district, and how they've been raised in the past years and things like that, even the fire tax. And the tax for the, I forget.
Emergency.
Yeah, emergency, all those taxes. Anyway, so I'm looking at all those, I'm just trying to compile something that we can either, for the supervisors to have, or, because they haven't been here forever, as none of us, actually. So, and also for the public to have, and we're gonna have them for the planning commission as well. So it might be something I have not talked to supervisors about, maybe we can posting it on the website somewhere, so that everybody would have access to that. And of course, you can always come into the office and we can talk about it, I can show you things.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Oh, and just so you know, we have been talking to wax up there, so we are working on that.
Supervisor, any questions, staff?
No, thank you, you've been busy, especially, it's hard to come back from vacation. It's really.
I had vacation break for like 3 days.
All right, well, listen, thank you, that wraps up the agenda, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.